If you're like me, you don't want useless channels cluttering up your feed. Yeah, I have a simple rule for this here. If I watch 3 videos from the same channel and I enjoy them, I usually subscribe to them. So if this is your first or second time here, hope you enjoy your stay. If this is your third time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with what we do. Gotta say a special thanks to Stanley Ron Blake, if I pronounce your username right there, for suggesting this run here. Short, sweet, and to the point. You can only use weapons and armor, and not really too much armor factors into this, but weapons that a World War I soldier would have had access to. And that's why we just call our character here G.I. Joe and move on with it. So that limits us quite a bit in this game, this run here. But not as much as one might think. There are quite a few weapons in this run that we can actually use. Jump over to our special stats here. I'll just toss it all up on here so you can see where I toss the points. Not really a structured run like I do for characters. Most of my runs like this are freeform, in it that I make it up as I go along. Whatever works, spur of the moment, is what I go with. Tag unarmed, medicine, and guns. Since we have low endurance, might as well have high medicine to keep us alive for most of this. Take heavy-handed and skilled. Works fine. Gonna be using melee and unarmed, unarmed damage is technically melee damage when you use brass knuckles. Now as I dump everything out of my inventory here from Doc Mitchell's house and the DLCs, I go to back out of my Pip-Boy and my entire game crashes. New Vegas never changes. So we have a little bit of a journey ahead of us. I'm not running straight to New Vegas. Stop by the Good Spring Source to fight some geckos. Mostly because I wanted to see if they tear me apart or not. I get pretty close. But the overall plan for the moment is to make our way to the police station not too far from the Mojave outpost. There's a weapon there that was well used by soldiers, by U.S. soldiers in World War I. As we head into Prim, we pick up some landmines here. U.S. used landmines during World War I, as most did. So, we're going to use these a little bit. Try not to get too much use out of them. Just, you know, get some gear to sell and get some more caps. Put our unarmed skill to use here. Run on in and fight some Jackal gang members. With the gangs and stuff like this that are kind of random outside of Vegas proper, or the Vegas ruins, I'd like to see them have a base somewhere, but I know that's not a thing. It would have been neat if they would have added like a home base for them. I get staggered here. I guess it's just part of one of the mods I'm using. Kind of annoying, but adds a little bit of spice to this game. Just keep going to town, punching. Step on some menaces, pick up some drugs, some ammo, everything we can. The weapon we're looking for is right in here. It's just a basic set of brass knuckles. And that's all we're looking for in here. They were in such common use by the U.S. soldiers at the time that they just started building them onto knives. That's why the trench knives have knuckle dusters on them. And with our high unarmed skill and these, we do some serious damage with just these brass knuckles here. Go and take on some rad scorpions just because I can. Circle around to their side where they can't hit you with your stinger and you're fine. On the way to Nipton, I get jumped by a bunch more of these, these are Jackal gang members again. I still feel like their spawn is like doubled here when it's not supposed to be. As I run across the road to take out this last Jackal gang member, I'm punching him in the dick, apparently. I get shot from out in the dry lake bed, and I was like, alright, well that's fucking weird, the guys out there. They don't usually come from out that way. But as I'm fighting him, I pick up the first weapon of the run, that's not brass knuckles, which is a 1911. Known as the 45 pistol in this game. Just show you me allocating my points. 50 guns, 50 unarmed right now. We're good. After that, we dip into Lonesome Road. Lonesome Road is a unique DLC in that you can just fucking leave, which is always welcome. But there's quite a bit of good shit you can grab right when you're here that'll get you set to go straight into New Vegas if you want. But there's a few things we want here, and I pick up the third technically weapon of the run, which is a Bowie knife. Sure, they weren't standard issue per se, but many U.S. soldiers brought Bowie knives from home. I was going to pick up this one, but I found one on the Dead Legion dude. The other thing we're picking up here is our set of clothing for the run. Is this completely accurate to World War I? No. U.S. uniforms, I guess, at the time were different, but we're going with this because it's the correct color. And 2, it has a trench coat on it. And while the U.S. didn't really use trench coats during World War I, I'm pretty sure more than one of our guys ended up with a trench coat as part of their kit, so to speak. So it works. Speeding up this entire part here to 7 times speed, mostly because I'm stubborn. I could have just walked away from this if I wanted. Ran downstairs, fucked off out of the DLC, and continued doing what I was doing. I decided not to. But yeah, there is a lot of good stuff right here in the beginning of the DLC. The Marked Men armor sells for like 500-600 caps with low barter. Get even more later on with it. I was toying with the idea of pushing further into the DLC and getting more stuff, but I figured, I won't do that. Head through Murder Pass to head to New Vegas quickly instead of circling all the way around. Take out some Super Mutants and Night Kin along the way. Pick up our next weapon, which is a 308 bolt-action rifle. Sure, they call it a hunting rifle here, but yeah, no, it was a weapon of war back in the day. And whilst we do use them for hunting nowadays, doesn't mean they weren't used that way back then. Next weapon that we pick up right here from the gun runners is the police pistol, which double-action pistols of that type were in very common use amongst our soldiers. Sometimes they'd even just bring weapons and shit from home, such as with the knives. Pick up a combat armor helmet just to pull everything together, and we're set for the rest of the run. Head through Freeside, shoot a sledgehammer out of a thug's hands, and then completely fucking destroy him.
Submit to a credit
I sold off a bunch of the Marked Men shit in the Lonesome Road DLC to the store that they have there. I want to say consignment, but that's not it. It's not requisitions either. I don't know. The weird terminal, you need like the little iBot to open up. Always has a lot of caps. It's only through like a couple of quick load screens. You can go there all the time and sell shit to it. Restocks every 3 days. Carries like combat armor or advanced riot armor or whatever. It's really fucking convenient. Put the 1911 to use here. Take out the Pops Chairman. Yeah, Chairman. Again, I get staggered every here and there, but the 1911 does work, and I'm not even using any plus P ammo or anything like that. Put the revolver to use to, you know, deal with Benny. Decide, I might as well get all this shit out of the way. I'm not going to be siding with the NCR. The NCR is not the U.S. Army. Well, government, really. Just going to speed this up here. Closest thing to the U.S. government would have been the Enclave, but the Enclave remnants are remnants of the Enclave, so they're not the Enclave. So I figure, what's the most American thing you can do in a situation like this? And that's half-assedly take everything for yourself. So that's what we're going to do. I go about dealing with all the cannibals here. And again, I could have just walked away from this. I could have used my guns and whatnot, but I was too stubborn and decided I wanted to knife fight a bunch of people with canes. I guess I was bored. We've all been there with video games and whatnot. Coming on out from dealing with the White Glove Society, I level up. Max out my gun skill. Put a couple of points into medicine. Now we can use that. Pump some more into our unarmed. Then I sit here for a bit and figure, am I going to go with Commando or Sneering Imperialist? Go with Sneering Imperialist. It's a fucking mouthful. Just because I can. I get jumped by some Legionnaires on the way to meet the Boomers, and gotta say, it's easier just to deal with the Legion with my brass knuckles than shooting them. Their armor is pretty beefy. I could get armor piercing 308 if I wanted, but I don't really have... Well, I am okay on caps, and I could dip back into Lonesome Road again if I needed more caps, but it's just one of them things, you know. Don't really need to go out of my way to get the caps. Anyway, I go pick up the key to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker at the I-88, or 188, whatever.
Listen up. I'm in.
Meet the Brotherhood and then fuck off. They're okay in my book. Could have gone out of my way to help them, but again, the Brotherhood of Steel's an offshoot of the United States military. I think most of the military fell in line with the Enclave in the months after the Great War. Fight these Legionnaires. Again, the only one you really need to worry about is the fucking melee unit that they send with them. Even then, you just pull out a gun and deal with them. And dealt with. Bunch of free loot. Mark Red Rock, but I don't actually meet the Great Khans, so I have to come back here later, which annoyed the fuck out of me, so, you know, somebody's got to pay for that one. Decided to say hi to the Gomorrah Omertas. Again, I don't like these guys. Like, how come so many Raider tribes 200, 300 years after the end of the world? Why isn't there, like, more structure? Anyway, I pick up a riot gun here. Semi-automatic shotgun. You'd think that this wouldn't be a thing for this run, but it is. They had semi-automatic shotguns in World War I. I know, a lot of people don't think about that, but yeah. Sure, there's the good old trench gun, pump-action shotgun, but they had semi-automatic 12-gauge shotguns, too. Fucking weird, man. There's also some other shit, too, that I was thinking of getting, because I know exactly where one is, and I could go get it if I wanted, but I felt like that would kind of, you know, take a lot of the spirit out of the run. Don't worry, we will be getting a normal pump-action shotgun later on. But, yeah. So just to go over a few things here, because I was just looking it back up again. The semi-automatic shotgun that was used was the Browning Auto 5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was made by John Moses Browning. So that means he made the 1911, the Browning Auto 5, the semi-automatic shotgun I was just talking about, and the Browning automatic rifle, which was fielded toward the end of World War I, which I could get a variety. Variant? Variant sounds better. A variant of that in this game. It's just the automatic rifle. You can pick one up in Quarry Junction in the Deathclaw nest, where the eggs are located. So, I don't know. I need to look more into it to see how many guns John Moses Browning made that were actually used in World War I. Because that's just 3 right there. Which is kind of insane. Anyway, I wait for House to pop out of his thing here. Apparently House, because I was looking into it just recently, House here went to the Institute from Fallout 4. Not as in post-war, but pre-war. That's where he went to school. So I wonder if he ever I mean, I know they're not in communication, but, you know, if House wanted to, he could probably send a Securitron or two cross country to check some shit out if he wanted. Well, sure, they don't have the longest range. They can still relay information back to him. Here I noticed the Great Khans have a couple of guns that I want. Well, one gun in particular. So I decided to take them. And the semi-auto 12 gauge here works well. Now, I may have a little bit of a high capacity for something like this, but I'm not repairing it this run, so don't need to worry about it. They got Popcorn. Think everything's all good until Carl jumps back out. Keep forgetting with the knockdown thing, you gotta make sure they're dead when they fall down. Say hi to the rest of the cons out here. Still not aggro on me for some reason. Take out Jack and Diane and yeah, they just kind of fade out of existence. Well, most of them fades out of existence. Legion jumps me again. Just gonna speed this up, but I thought this shit was funny. Just kind of ragdolling them around, shooting guns out of their hands and shit.
Did you see that?
And then Thomas out of nowhere just comes up and interrupts every fucking thing. Ah, shit like this, man. This is what makes New Vegas, New Vegas. This is what makes Fallout, Fallout. Can't make the shit too serious, otherwise you just end up with Stalker, you know? That shit can get depressing sometimes. So, you gotta have the whimsical part of it. The zany, out of this world, weird shit, you know? Take out the rest of the Legion without too much of a problem. God, these reloads are nice. Bam, I'm hated by the Legion for like the 4th fucking time. Here I decide I'm not gonna go to Cottonwood Cove, I'm not gonna go to the fort, I'm not gonna activate the Securitrons. I'm just gonna make everything, it's not even really harder in the long run. But you know, half-ass it. Why not? Tell Yes Man about everything, it's all good. He wants us to go save the president. Nah, I'm good. Give us the override chip for the Dorito substation. Dude tells us to stay out of the control room, so we go into the control room to plug the chip in and just haul ass out of there. No one gives a fuck. As long as you don't spend too much time in there, they don't care. Spend too much time in there and then the NCR hates you. Not entirely sure why. Sure, the substation delivers power and shit, but man, who cares? Not like it's delivering a huge amount of power from Helios 1 to any place else. Make our way through Hoover Dam, taking out everything we can. Blow up the dam, because we can't have it, no one can. As I'm taking care of some Centaurians here, first time I've ever seen a missile barrage like that from the fucking Securitrons. Most of the time they're just making me explode. Put the 1911 to some more use here toward the end. Again, I say the mod that I have that automatically puts DLC weapons into the leveled lists of all the game is needed. Especially if you played the game more than once and beat all the DLCs. It's just something that should have been there from the beginning, you know. Level up again while here. Max out my unarmed because I might as well fist fight the Legate at this point. Got spiked knuckles. I don't really know what else to put my points into, so I just dump them into melee. There we go. So I decide, fuck it, I'm gonna go fist fight the Legate. Again, if you keep yourself in an animation loop like this, you can completely avoid all conversations. So I start beating the fuck out of the Legate here. Pulls out a sword, he gets scared and bitches out here. Just jump straight down, wait for him to get close, vats into him, take your shots. Easy enough to deal with him. It's supposed to be like the Beast of the East or something, but as soon as it gets a little hairy, he runs for fucking support and meds. Take out the rest of his guards and stuff here. Get ready to face Oliver. and the NCR,
As much.
and it bugs out and my gun won't draw and I get demolished. So yes, you can beat New Vegas as a World War I soldier, at least using the gear for being a World War I soldier. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This one was a quick little video. Pretty fun too. Thanks for watching.